We're going to go right into matchup of the ages, old versus new. By now, you know the drill. I pick an old movie. Apparently, I'm older than some other people in this room. Say. So I pick a movie, an old movie, and it's got to be older than me. So it's got to be older than 50 years old. The great thing is, the older I get, the older the movies get.
And then we match it up with a newer movie that has the same ranking and see which one's better.
I'm a little surprised at this. So here we have, I think most people have heard of the Maltese Falcon. Rotten Tomatoes, 99%.
Tony, did you say the older you get, the older the movies get?
I did say that.
But you were always born in 1975.
But a year from now, I'll be older, and the old movies will get older too. All you're
saying is, as time goes on, older movies are longer ago?
It's a true statement, though.
It's very true. I cannot argue with that.
Right.
You're correct.
Fat Cardinal agrees with me. We're all getting older. So here we go. The Maltese Falcon. I'm going to jump into this, guys, because I have a lot to say.
Ooh, go for it.
And here we go. This is one of 3 films that Humphrey Bogart did in 1941, which marks the year we got involved, the U.S. got involved in World War II. So kind of put yourself into that perspective.
Far too late.
That's probably a good point. But Pearl Harbor got us in there, right? So
that's part of the problem as well. Like, Britain joins the war to defend another nation. America only joined the war when it was affected personally. That's an issue.
Look, I wasn't there. I am old, but I wasn't there. But that's a valid point, Father. That's a valid point. I will give that to you.
Not on my note cards. I don't know what to say.
I was writing notes down. Pearl Harbor was not on that. So the Maltese Falcon in Casablanca absolutely catapulted Humphrey Bogart to stardom. And unlike The Big Sleep, which is another Bogart film that we did talk about in Old versus New, this film is much easier to follow.
Yes.
The Big Sleep, oh man, a lot going on. Maltese Falcon, we can really follow this.
Yes.
Written and directed by John Huston, whose career spanned over 5 decades. So he won 2 Oscars for Best Screenplay and Best Director. So it was not uncommon for John Huston to do writing and directing. And he won those 2 Oscars in 1949 for The Treasure of Sierra Madre. So that was the movie, The Treasure of Sierra Madre, starring none other than Humphrey Bogart, which Bogart was Huston's best friend. Now, Huston was known for treating actors rudely. He was a bit of a hothead. He was so mean to John Wayne on set that Wayne couldn't stand it anymore. He lost his temper, and in one punch, John Wayne knocked out John Huston.
Wow.
Knocked him out cold. And if you haven't seen the Maltese Falcon, you know probably that there is a statuette of a falcon. And they made 3 of these for this movie. And all 3 of these are around, and they're each worth $1 million, about $1 million a piece.
One of them got like cut up on set.
Yeah, they were hacking.
Are they
into
all
it.
Cut up?
I don't know about that.
Interesting.
I just know that three exist.
Do you think the cut up one would be more valuable because
it
was used on?
Because it was the one that was actually, unless they did it to all of them. But I would think that it would be.
Well, it's become a bit of a trope, hasn't it? The Maltese Falcon, like this unobtainable, unobtainmentium or something they call it.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, but it obviously comes from the Holy Grail, right? I say obviously. I'm assuming it comes from the Holy Grail. The search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I'm going to take a little detour. So here's the thing: old movie. Maltese Falcon has a great reputation, but I want to talk about how the Hays Code affected the Maltese Falcon. Now, what is the Hays Code? It was officially known as the Motion Picture Production Code, but it was called the Hays Code after Will Hays, who was the president of the Motion Picture Producers and Distributors of America. Now, he gained prominence after successfully managing the 1920 presidential campaign for Warren G. Harding. He was placed as postmaster, and then he resigned from that to take this position of the chairman and then later on the president of this organization. Now, the Hays Code took root in the early 30s, and it lasted until the late 1960s, and it essentially regulated what could be shown in films, basically for morality, okay? It prohibited profanity, obscenity, and racial slurs, and had massive restrictions on sexuality, crime, violence, inappropriate behavior, and promiscuity.
And you couldn't criticize a priest.
I'm going to get to that point. That's exactly right.
So we agree.
Bring that back.
We agree, baby. That's right. And there was a 3-second kissing rule. You can't kiss
3
longer.
seconds,
3
really?
seconds. You can't. There's a 3-second rule for picking up stuff off the floor, and you can't kiss longer than 3 seconds on film. That was a part of the Hays Code. And it wasn't just to address the films. It was also addressing the conduct of the stars themselves. It was created by a Catholic layman and a Jesuit priest. So Martin Quigley was this Catholic layman who was the editor of a prominent paper, the Motion Picture Herald. And Father Daniel Lord was this priest, and they created this code of standards. They took it to several studio executives, mainly MGM, who signed off on this. And the Hays Code had 2 main goals. Essentially prohibited a film from lowering the moral standards of those who see it. Most specifically for women, children in the lower class, who they were seen as the susceptible minds of the time, right?
Which is actually what the encyclicals written by the popes demanded. It was for the formation of the moral personality. So that's why...
Bingo.
Yeah, it was what the church was saying at the time as
right.
well.
And the second part of the Hays Code dealt with particular applications or things that could not be depicted. For example, homosexuality, perverted sexual acts. All criminal action had to be punished, and neither the crime nor the criminal could elicit sympathy from the audience, or the audience must at least be aware that such behavior is wrong, usually through what they called compensating moral value.
How far we've come from that.
How far we've come.
Now.
Guns could not be pointed at the screen. That was a no-no. That was in the Hays Code. Guns could not be pointed at the screen. Authority figures had to be treated with respect, and clergy could not be portrayed as comic characters or villains. This we'll talk about this in future episodes, but this also brought about the Catholic Legion of Decency, which was founded in 1934 by the Cincinnati Archbishop John McNicholas. And like I said, we'll get into that in later episodes. But what I want to talk about is, how did the Hays Code affect the Maltese Falcon? Just like many films, guys, the Maltese Falcon was a novel in 1930. And this novel was very ahead of its time in relation to promiscuity, sexuality. So this novel specifically portrayed the lead actress, which was the character Mary Astor, as overtly sexually provocative and seductive. Therefore, they had to tone her actions down significantly. If you'll remember the fat man's sidekick, Joel Cairo, he was the thin, curly-haired guy. He had clear references to homosexuality in the novel, so his character had to be dramatically altered. And I kind of can see that in that character, where it's like, okay, he's got that kind of implication even in the film. And that implied affair between Sam Spade, Humphrey Bogart, and his dead partner's wife had to be dramatically toned down to adhere to the code, because the novel had all of these things at a much higher level. And there were several crime scenes that had to be subdued. Now, when you look at the Maltese Falcon and you see, yes, this was a great film. Most people will talk about this film. And if you said, what's one of the greatest films of all times, the Maltese Falcon is going to be on everybody's top 10 list. In my opinion, my strong opinion, the resulting effects of all these changes from the novel to the film actually made the Maltese Falcon the movie that it was, because it gave it made Hollywood have to do better story writing and have the actors play those parts well. So I want to leave it at that. There's a lot of things that we can talk about it, but I want to make sure and go into the importance of the Hays Code and how it affected the Maltese Falcon. I will let you take it away on.
Oh, yeah. So what's better than one animal?
Two animals. Two fierce animals.
A crouching tiger and a hidden dragon. How are you going to survive that?
I don't know how you hide a dragon, but it's possible. Public schools are out of control, and homeschooling isn't for everyone. But what about Catholic schools? Even many Catholic schools are drifting away from the faith. Is your Catholic school one of them? the next generation is at risk of forgetting their Catholic tradition and losing their faith. That's why we love the work of the St. John Henry Newman Institute. They help revitalize Catholic schools. They train leaders, give grants for schools in need, and build roadmaps to help schools transform their curriculums. The John Henry Newman Institute is the guide that Catholic schools need, and it's simple. At jhni.org, schools go through a simple application and assessment process and receive a tailored transformation plan so that their Catholic school can embrace tradition and teach the fullness of the faith. Whether you work at a Catholic school or just drop your child off there, make sure your school joins the John Henry Newman Institute network so that you can get peace of mind knowing that your Catholic school is really fully Catholic. Learn more and join us at jhni.org, accelerating the renewal of Catholic education. That's jhni.org, jhni.org.
I don't know if the film explained it, but there was two woman warriors. I guess one was a crouching tiger and the other was a hidden dragon. I don't know.
That's a good point.
But they fight over this stolen sword, and it kind of there's.
Oh, I didn't realize that Michelle Yeoh. That's her.
Michelle Yeoh is
from the new
great.
Star Trek.
She was really good, really graceful in this film. I thought the photography, like she was really pretty. The photography was really well done. Interestingly, like the film came out the year after The Matrix, and I mean, productions take a long time, so I don't want to say it copied from The Matrix, but it's very similar in kind of the light, touchy, kind of like kung fu style. But it was really cool. I would say it's like 80% really cool fighting and 20% so you think you can dance.
And I think this was one of the first big subtitled movies, right?
I have no idea.
I think so. And they flew.
They flew or jumped.
They jumped gracefully for long periods of like, wow,
And
that was a
sometimes
huge
you
jump.
could tell they were being pulled by wires. Like you couldn't see the wires, but it's just like that is not. Even if you're flying, that doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
So mostly cool though. Like the fighting was pretty fun to watch. And you know, it has Buddhism in it as like kind of the meaning of it, and it's like the main guy, like who's the best warrior, is a Buddhist, and like him and Michelle Yeoh love each other, but Buddhism is so boring and not romantic at all. So just like, you're touching me, but you're not touching me, and what's even real? And it's just like, all right, cool.
That was bizarro.
Get back to the fighting.
Yeah, that was super bizarro.
The fighting, though, like I said, really cool. The younger character who's also a warrior, kind of like she's probably hidden dragon. Now that I think about it, she's hidden. She's disguised.
She has to be hidden dragon. That's true. Yep.
Like there's this scene where all these village warriors are like challenging her, and it's really cool how she dismantles them. Surprisingly, like most movies that have women fighting, it's just like, okay, you have this woman like overpowering this man, like punching.
Girl boss.
And she was young and tiny.
Yeah, but actually, this film, the way the choreography works, it's more believable. It's like I can see that happening.
Yeah, no, I thought they did good with that. Yeah.
The ending, though, of this film was kind of like
weird.
Just be yourself, bro. It's like find your you and be Buddhist. Like
it was weird.
It was a weird ending. I think the film does reward virtue. Like you see virtue, and it's like I want to be like that. The characters who are virtuous are rewarded, but it doesn't really punish vice. And that's where I think Maltese Falcon is just a much clearer moral picture of a film. I think it did better.
25 when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out. And it was a big deal. It was a big deal because I think you're right, Father. It was like more like, oh, this is a breakthrough for a subtitled movie. And also because of the martial arts and special effects of they had jumping, flying capacity or whatever the case may be. This was a huge this was a very popular movie, and I had never watched it back then. I had never watched it back in the day. So for this episode, this is the first time I've ever watched it.
Yeah.
And I was expecting something from a Bruce Lee, like, oh, this is going to be phenomenal. And I just didn't get it. I didn't quite understand a lot of the things. I do think that gal, you said Michelle Yeoh?
Mm-hmm.
Man, she did great.
Mm-hmm.
She was graceful. She was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I did like how the warrior, when he was acting in a capacity of a warrior, he did it effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sword is green. It's green destiny. Okay, it's got special cutting abilities. Like, okay, all right, that's fine. But I'm with you. It just didn't add up to me. It just didn't add up.
Yeah, Maltese Falcon, like it
kept going. It built, and then bam, like,
oh
yes.
man. And the way it ends without giving anything away is like, it could have ended in the sense of rewarding him in a worldly way, but he only cared about justice and for crimes that were done.
He went out of his way. And that was what I liked about the end, without giving it away, which you got to watch The Maltese Falcon. It's on so many top lists of old movies. And obviously it's one of Bogey's best movies.
Bogey, is that what people
That's what
call
people call him? Yeah, Bogey. Yeah, when he and I were hanging out, it's like, Bogey, what's up?
Yeah, I asked the question. So he's younger in this film than The Big Sleep. And I was wondering if he's still all about women, like women everywhere. And he's always like, women are swooning over him. So when I started watching this film, it was funny that the first line was his secretary walking in and saying, "There's a woman here to see you. And she's a knockout. You're going to want to see her." It was just like,
not again.
Humphrey, stop, Humphrey. Cut it out.
He's 5 years younger in this film than The Big Sleep, but he, so that means he's 42 years old.
So I will say that his kind of uncompromising selfishness, when it's pointed at injustice and crime, is like, you want to root for it.
Yeah.
But when it's pointed at women, it's just so annoying. It's just like, stop it.
That
like,
is that product of the 40s, the 30s and 40s, that there was just so much of this. The lead man goes after the women. It was an odd thing, but still, Maltese Falcon is an amazing film. I will watch it again in a heartbeat. I would not watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again.
Well, here's the critical flaw of Maltese Falcon before I rank it. I'll just say a few quick things. The title card told us what the hero was going to find out 60 minutes into the film. So as he's finding out what the Maltese Falcon is and what its story is, we already know it. So we're just waiting. Feels like a bunch of waiting for him to find it out.
What do you mean by that? Because you're a filmmaker and I'm a dummy. So I didn't know anything.
What? It told you everything about the Maltese Falcon. It said, here's what it was. Here's what its purpose was.
Oh,
here's
the title card said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
at the
read
very
that.
beginning.
I didn't read that.
And then.
Oh, I see your point. Yeah. Okay.
So when Bogart finds out, it's like, all right, well, finally he's caught up. He should have just watched the opening title card.
And look, he was a busy guy. Father can't watch movies. Humphrey Bogart can't read title cards.
That's true.
He's too busy smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that's right.
And making films with John Huston.
Well, I'm a martial artist, so I've got my black belt in Taekwondo, license. My family are martial artists. My father has always had kung fu movies on, and I find them boring. I like doing it. I don't like watching it.
I just got scared a little bit. Like I got a little scared, Father, when you were like, you got a black belt?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, white collar with a black belt. That's
good fun to do, but I find the movie's boring. So Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon I would find boring. Whereas Maltese Falcon, I think that changed, not necessarily a genre, but it had an impact on the industry. And there's so many films and series have kind of modeled off. I remember there's a Star Trek episode, I think. Or maybe it's SG-1. Anyway, there's so many people have copied it and duplicated it because the story is powerful. And I think it does come from that chasing of the Holy Grail. So there's something in that. But the Hays Code that you mentioned, let's bring that back. That's important.
Yeah.
Let's put a moral compass back into Hollywood. Take out the degeneracy, indecency, debauchery. I'm sure we'll get to that in the conversation that's coming up, though.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to vote.
Okay.
I think the vote is clear. Cameron, you let's go. What do you think?
Well, on my list, I put Crouching Tiger as 21, and I put Maltese Falcon at number 11.
Ooh,
It soared.
It did. Yep, definitely Maltese Falcon. And Father, are we going to sweep it?
Yes.
We're sweeping it.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
you
The
did
Maltese
it.
Falcon does its job.
Much better than the big old sleepy film that he was in.
It was better than the Big
old
Sleep.
Big Sleepy.
Yeah,
film.
the Big Sleep is complicated. Maltese Falcon is definitely easier to follow. If you liked that clip, which I'm sure you did, then check out our other clips. And don't forget to go into the comments section and hype this bad boy. Don't make me get Fat Cardinal. Hype it now.